We have spent the last handful of months with an RFP that some people are looking at, and some people have said that they will submit a bid to us. We have not received anything yet in the last 90 to 120 days. The gentleman did stop by earlier today, and he did pick up the RFP, and he's talked with Mayor Andy about it for quite a few times here, I think, so I'm pretty much assuming that we'll get a quote in from him.
Okay. Main Street parking.
Yes, at our last meeting, actually it was our May meeting, wasn't it? The council asked us to look into the parking regulations on Main Street. I looked at about 11 or 12 different cities, and quite honestly, it varies in any community. In fact, a lot of towns don't have like the limited hours of parking on Main Street. They might say 24 hours or 36, but they don't designate a certain time, on the clock. So I guess my question for you is, do you want us to begin enforcing those? Do you want us to remove the signs? Do you want us to, what do you want?
Do we feel we have adequate signage to get the point across that it is only 3-hour parking or 24-hour parking?
I think so.
Let's say it's unbiddable, but...
We don't have enough staff. We don't have enough police to chalk these players. I mean, even if they just, we can put them on administration all day.
I agree with that. Could we enforce it without lightly enforce it? Just maybe have a conversation with some people, saying, hey, notice your vehicle hasn't moved for a while, and without having to go through all the chalking of tires and, you think a conversation would help matters?
We can put notices on windshields. The problem is that a lot of cars aren't registered to the current addresses. So if you got somebody living in the Heritage House, they have a address of St. Peter on their license. And that's a common problem with rental properties. A lot of the properties don't have rental background investigations completed. And so we don't have that as an option to try to determine where these people live. So at that point, it becomes a piece of paper on the windshield. With the 3-hour notice, the issue is that I would have to be watching which cars and when they get there. Chalking tires and stuff like that. That would be a big cost of time.
Yep. I understand.
Do you have any thoughts on what we could do?
I think the options are, call in the complaint. That was voiced before. If there's evidence to support that something has been parked for more than 3 hours, that evidence could be reviewed. Otherwise, it's chalking tires. It's something that a notice could be provided to the rental property owners, to the tenants of the business spaces uptown. A mailer could be sent out saying, hey, look, we have these spaces, please abide by city ordinance, or we could remove the ordinance. I think any way you slice it, there's going to be a difficult conversation somewhere along this path.
I believe around town, several spots, there's security cameras, like in alleys and such. Is that a possibility for Main Street?
Security cameras?
To put security cameras upon Main Street buildings, so one can see which cars are there the longest?
We do have a request for a quote through BevCom to determine what it would cost to do like a external Wi-Fi. That's something that, the mayor has asked that we look into, and I don't think that's a bad idea. I do think it's gonna be expensive, the external Wi-Fi. The last time I spoke with Dan Maleka, who's no longer our guy, is that's not a cheap endeavor. So, beyond that, I believe there's ring cameras and stuff at certain businesses. That's an option, you know, if somebody were to provide that evidence and you can determine, yep, absolutely, this is in violation. But then again, we're talking about a local ordinance citation.
Right. I don't think it'd take much to get it cleaned up a little bit, though. I mean, I think if a couple conversations were had, or a warning, I think that people will start getting the hint, and maybe it could get a little better.
And
I know we're
think-
never gonna clean it all up. But.
Right, I think a couple of them did change their behavior when they were up here talking the one time. You know, getting everybody to have that same change would be wonderful. I think a good opportunity would be maybe to send out a mailer to the business owners, and I can work on that.
I think that would help. And then if something comes in complaint-based, then
Deal with the complaint.
go from there.
Yep.
As being past mayor, this comes up about every 4 years, and becomes traditionally, it takes about that long to go through its cycle again. It has twice in my term of being mayor, came up with the council. And we went from a big discussion, 4 hours, 3 hours. Do we want to have it all? And then, this was, last time was more geared towards, down by the school area, but still Main Street. There's a big discussion, we had business owners give input at that time, what they wanted, and we changed it to 3 hours, is what they came up with for the best in their eyes at the time. It was obviously a few years ago, but just, you know, the history of parking that went too fast. That's dealt with probably 6-8 times, probably.
Yes, sir. Yep.
I just feel that getting rid of it, I mean, that's just gonna be a free-for-all then, and I personally don't feel that's a very good choice, but
You know, of course, businesses, if you get rid of it, it's hard to keep business going if your people can't get to your business.
right. So what do we think, go with the mailer and address it as the complaints come in, or?
Let's do the mailer. We'll probably get some questions or feedback or whatever, but I think that's a good start. You know,
First steps, we can always escalate if we need to.
you know,
Sounds like
yeah, the city council has asked staff to enforce the current signs on Main Street. We are gonna begin doing that on whatever date. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop at City Hall. How's that sound? I just wrote your letter for you, man.
Was that a motion, or? Well, we don't need a motion, 'cause it's already in the ordinance.
Yeah, right.
Good with that? Moving on.
All right.
General fund.
Thank you for attending. What's that?
Oh, sorry. Accept, second quarter donations to various funds.
Yeah, you have a resolution here tonight that has all of these second quarter donations that we've received.
What was the Jago one for? Was that for a project?
There's a handful of things, some different ground work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's fine. I guess we'll learn more about it here coming up, but.
No, well, there was some.
For the seating?
There
for
was
the-
some,
For the driving range?
not the driving range.
There were several
Yeah.
That the JAG contribution cover.
It was a project that's already been completed though, right?
Yeah, yeah. Jacob had mentioned what the donations went towards. It was small.
I have a problem when the donation comes in after the project has been completed without our approval.
Oh. Every quarter, we adopt this these all came in beginning in March. This is the second quarter. So we got the checks from JAGA quite a while ago, and what we do now every quarter is we give you the list of all the donations we got that quarter. Yeah.
I misspoke, and I was under the assumption it was for the month.
Yeah, for the quarter.
Yeah, the big total, he told us that the amount he told us.
I missed that.
I'll motion to approve resolution 2025-12. All in favor? Aye. 4-0. Now we can move to the budget.
Yes, so as we mentioned earlier here, the fire department's draft budget is a 4.7% increase. Mike talked about a couple items there. The police department's is a 3.6% increase. One item I do want to point out is that the charge for the legal fees at the county attorney's office, those decreased. In the past handful of years, we were actually paying previous year fees on top of the current fees, but now that little contracting agreement went away, so that went down by about half for next year, so that saved quite a bit right there. The very bottom line, operating, or other equipment, I'm sorry, that is for the scheduled radio replacements that we'll be doing every year. Every year we'll replace a couple instead of buying a whole bunch all at once. Couple items there for you. Steve, can you think of anything else?
There was a few things that were cut out, paper copies of books that we get online, that was like $800. A few things like that, but no real major changes. Just trimming some of the fat on things that weren't necessary.
On other equipment for 2350 or 23500, he says that's for radios. That's different than the other radio or the radios we approved earlier tonight?
Same radios, pricing changed a little bit. The quote that we were receiving was for some features that weren't necessary for us. I checked our quotes against Mankato PD, DPS quotes, and trimmed some of the stuff that was not necessary. And then the prices did go down. It's all state bid, so I mean, you're not gonna get a different quote. It's just what you're getting. Prices did change. They went up on the 27th. We ordered the two before that change. But from the first quote to what we bought for the two, I think it went down, $900 or
Something like that, yeah.
$1,200. We cut quite a bit out of it.
Yeah.
And then that other equipment is also for keeping the body worn cams coming in. One of the things that we went with was the cheaper models, $500-600 a piece. They're $500-600 compared to $4 or $5 grand for some of the Axon and the higher end ones. With that, you get less battery life out of them. The batteries don't last as long. It's just not quite as nice of a unit, but we're saving money on it because it's more cost efficient. You buy a $40 battery or a $100 battery, and that's back to square one. So.
Now, overall, the budgets look very good. Yes, thank you, you too.
Thanks, Steve. Do we have anything else?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Right, 4:00 at 8:12.